while the pandemic continues to challenge us, it has also shown how resilient, compassionate, and adaptable we can be. As part of its One Way, One World initiative, Guardian Group has joined the World Happiness Awards to project the World Happiness Fest. Supported by more than 300 institutions and thought leaders all over the world, we are working to bring hope, tools, and support to the largest possible number of people everywhere to simply help to make life easier. Here in the Caribbean, we have many examples of ways in which people have responded and adapted to these challenges. And today, we feature one of those courageous individuals. I want to welcome Brendon Brathwaite. Brendon, how are you?
I'm great, tomorrow.
I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we live in challenging times on several levels, causing us to adapt in so many ways. So share with us how the pandemic has impacted you both professionally and personally.
On a personal level, the pandemic rocked my world.
Okay.
I think I wasn't ready. It has been an emotional roller coaster in some instances. I think persons who are in my industry, which is the event planning industry, I think a lot of us needed counseling. Those who may not willingly admit it, but I think finding yourself in a scenario where you cannot gather, where your job is designed around public gatherings, and therefore you just became totally de-skilled, is a real shock for anyone. On a professional level, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of employees, a lot of people who would have come to the office every day. They no longer come, and that became a daily nightmare of, okay, we're no longer producing events. We no longer have all these clients. The phone is no longer ringing. And then the bills are now stacking up.
Yes.
I think the pandemic brought a lot of these things to light, and it was a very uncomfortable place to be in.
Now, it must have been an act of courage as well to try something new. And, how you decided to, create this innovation where you were confident enough to shift things and make it work in your favor?
It didn't happen automatically. After watching a lot of Netflix and a lot of movies online and realizing that I'm slipping into, my least productive time of my life, because I'm always on the run, always on a treadmill. In this instance, I had to now get back to my daily routines.
Okay.
And my daily routines was now waking up on mornings, writing things down, and committing myself to doing it. But also liaising with my friends who at the same time were experiencing the same things. And we were now bouncing ideas with each other, trying to figure out what we're going to do next. And one of the options was to convert our spaces.
Okay.
And converting our spaces mean that, I purchased a house in 2017, and that house was the office.
Okay.
So I had workers coming in, so it was a home office type of / thing, and storage and everything else. And in the midst of the pandemic, I said, okay, the storage has to go somewhere because I'm no longer using it daily. And this space is now going to be an apartment. So that's when I decided to build the first apartment. When I advertised the apartments for rent, a real estate agency reached out to me and said, okay, we could get rented for you. And they were so efficient. It was the timeline between meeting and executing and getting my first tenant. Plus they supported with regards to the contracts. Being a first-time renter, a first-time landlord, they made the process so good. It's like I said, hey, I like what you guys do. Could I do that? And I said, okay, let me meet your boss. I want to get an interview. So I sent them my resume. On it had nothing with regards to real estate. My resume has nothing. I'm writing a book. I'm a lecturer at UWI. I'm an event planner. I do a lot of other things, but I'm a fund coordinator. All these other things that sound real cool, but nothing to do with landlord.
Right.
And so delving into being a landlord and into real estate, and now I'm on my third apartment. So now we're creating another space here, creating the third apartment. I am seeing a different light with regards to what could be the next journey, what is my next opportunity in life. And earning passive income is very cool.
Now, Brendon, this is very inspiring. But when it comes to, now there would have been a trial and error process before you decided, okay, real estate is where I'm heading, or this is the idea that I'm sticking with and I'm moving forward to it. How did you know exactly when, okay, there's trial and error here, but this is going to work?
Well, Tamara, I think I do a few things. On mornings, I listen to motivational talks.
Okay.
So in my circle of people, there's little doubt.
Oh, beautiful.
So when, for example, I say I'm going to do something, the only person who could tell me or talk me out of doing it is me.
Correct.
Because there's like, I wouldn't necessarily want to open up to every single person and say, hey, you know, I'll go and do this. No, I always
shouldn't.
Say, well, I tell myself that I chain myself up. That's a statement that we normally make. You chain yourself up. So I tell myself, okay, well, I'm going to be a landlord and I'm going to be a real good real estate agent, and I'm going to sell a house in January and well, I didn't sell it today. I'm going to sell it in February, and
right.
you know, and so those are the things that I use to just push myself, and it's happening. It happens. It's like, so a lot of time it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like you tell yourself you go and do it, and you do it. So when you say there's a leap that some people make, I think it's a leap that people make, not like a physical leap or anything like that, but it's a leap in your mind. It's where you tell yourself in your mind what you're going to do and believe it.
It's always important to be your biggest cheerleader. You need to be your biggest cheerleader. That is important. Now, Brendon, where do you see, in a post-COVID world, where do you see the world when this is all over?
I think the world has changed forever. One.
Yes.
The pandemic or the effects of the pandemic on social gatherings will always be different. There'll be the necessary risk management protocols that will be necessary for people to go into events and gather. Those things will be modified. And we, as festive Caribbean people, love to interact, so we'll find a way. After this, I think for my company, which is Buzz Concepts, we will be fine, we will be okay, we will bring people together and celebrate fun once more. For me, venturing into real estate, I think I'm going to be a real estate agent for the rest of my life.
You enjoy it thoroughly.
No, believe me, I enjoy gatherings and bringing people together
Right.
more. I would admit that.
Okay.
But it's the same way that I help people help people solve problems with regards to bringing people together in the past. Now I'm actually bringing families together and letting people live their dreams, and everyone wants a home. Everyone wants a home. It's like, it's so easy. It's like, do you want a home? Yes, I want a home. So it's how hard is that to sell to anyone? Yeah. You know, so realistically, I solve people problems, and I'll continue doing that.
And you know, in both professions, both the Buzz Concept and the real estate, just like the Buzz Concept, where you bring people together to make people happy in that happy place, you're bringing them in a happy space now.
Happy people need to be happy, and
Yes.
I think it's so underrated what happiness is for people. Again, happiness could be waking up in your own house. Happiness could be where at the end of the day you feel comforted and you have a peace of mind.
Correct.
And so finding that space, again, for us business people who are affected, finding the right space moving forward, and then working with your colleagues, talking to other people, keeping that circle tight enough so that you do not be daunted.
You know, there are some persons who may say, okay, your skill set is one where you're very talented, you're gifted, it's innate in you. However, they don't believe that they have the ability to do what you do, because they may see you and what you do as something really special, and it's a skill set that they may not have. So what sort of advice would you share with them?
People say, Brendon, you're successful, right? In all the different things I do. With all of these skills, I've also been diagnosed with dyslexia at a young age.
Okay.
I've been challenged. I had a daughter when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
That's supposed to keep you back, you know, and
or fuel you forward.
Or fuel you forward. And again, people see it as in different ways. And things you always have hurdles, though.
Right.
You always, what is life without a challenge?
Right.
And you know, my father told me, he said, I'm now 40, and my father told me, he said, life is better at 40. He said, life gets easier at 40. And I called it back. I called him back about 6 months later, and I said, Dad, you lie. You keep on lying to me. You keep on lying to me, because life not getting easier.
Right.
It's not. Not that I don't know if it happened to get easier for him when he turned 40.
Yeah.
But for me, it's getting harder. And you know what? The harder it is, if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it.
Right.
And so that's why when people say real estate is going to be hard, boy, that industry real competitive, boy, go on. Say events hard too.
Correct.
Everything hard. And so what we going to do? Sit down and wait for it to take over us?
Yes.
Nah, I challenge in life, man. I define in my own.
Defining your own. So you're advising them, one, which I'm taking away, to always listen to something inspirational in the morning.
Very, very, very important. Take that's like one of the first things you should do. And two, stay away from people and get rid of people in your circles that are not positive.
Okay.
Like if you're somebody in your circle you don't want to be like, they're not supposed to be in your circle. It might sound harsh, but if you don't want to be like the persons around you, to be around them.
Okay.
And that's a hard statement to make, but
Correct.
a lot of times people don't want to hear this. You have to be around people who you want to be like.
Beautiful.
It's a big statement though.
Exactly.
You know, so that's two. And three, just accept the challenge and chain yourself up. Write things down. I write things on my mirror, all the objectives I want to get in the next month. I mean, I don't get all, but I get most.
Correct.
And so that's the kind of things that you have to do.
Brendon, well, I mean, you will continue to grow and grow and grow and continue to inspire people. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you very much for having me tomorrow.
We invite you to nominate anyone or any organization in the Caribbean for the Global Happiness Awards in the category of COVID-19 support. To nominate, please go to www.worldhappiness.foundation/awards. And to vote, please visit happinessawards.submittable.com/gallery and click on the COVID-19 category. One way, one world, Guardian Group. Live easy.